away we go. And away we go. Finally, it took me all week, Tom, all week to get into the Ryder Cup. I didn't have any feel for it. No, nothing till this morning. Finally this morning, I'm like, here we go. Okay. But I had nothing on a Wednesday, nothing on a Tuesday, nothing on Monday when the week started. Wasn't all that amped about it.
Well, you're amped because we're going in 2 years to Ireland for the next one.
Which we made that plan on the air together yesterday. We did, yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Going to cement it. Maybe, we'll talk more about it. I do want to go. So we got to figure out exactly.
Hey, Brendan is your friend from Visit Ireland and the kickoff class. He's got to have a friend or two that maybe they could point us in the right direction. Not asking for freebies, but,
I'll send out a text request 2 years in advance.
That's right.
After the show today, I'll reach out to Brendan and say, hey, buddy, all the good work I did for you guys in the build-up to the Florida State-Georgia Tech game.
We could do still more for a pocket of the Southeast that is sizable, because our multimedia network is large.
That's right.
And we could show off the west coast of the state this time, the western half of the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah, I'm all in. We'll have a blast. We'll go. Anyhow, I'm finally into the Ryder Cup. You know what I thought about driving in, besides our game tomorrow? How do we get better at foursomes, alternate shot? It's the only thing that's what separates us in the Euros every time we lose. We're terrible at it. We're awful at it. Go look at the records over the last 20 years of us in alternate shot.
Don't need to.
They're awful.
It's like Chicago White Sox, Colorado Rockies bad.
If you could, because we're always better. Well, not always. We're usually better in singles. We just can't. Damn it, man, with alternate shot. It just drives me nuts. The whole thing with foursome is that who do you pair with whom? And, I have that question kicking around my brain at the start of the show today. Like, who are you pairing with Bryson DeChambeau?
I don't think it's necessarily a problem when it's on our soil, because we'll cut the rough down and so people
bomb it, gouge it, and
people can recover from anywhere in that instance. And I hear Bethpage is down relative to what we're used to seeing.
Well, it's because it's not a U.S. Open.
Correct. But or a PGA Championship. The one that Brooks won over there was essentially a U.S. Open setup, even though it was the PGA, was the major. But when you go over there, man, we need to hold some type of national event, the National Alternate Shot Team Challenge, and then put a purse out there for $2 million, American citizens only, and that's how you cultivate a winning alternate shot team.
I like where the chat's head's at. I like it. You are thinking the right way. So, Dave, I'll start with you, buddy. Why is the spread so low on the Virginia game? What does Vegas know? Yep, Dave, that's the right question. The same goes for everybody else, kind of like, hey, what in the what? Why is this line 6.5? Well, yeah, I saw it, Tony. It dropped, and I jumped on it some more because I already had a piece of it at 7, and I had a piece of it at 7.5. I'm sure as hell going to have a piece of it at 6.5. Why are you shaking your head?
You're going to make me open my app now.
Yeah, go give the 6.5. What are you doing? You're already giving more.
I did the 7.5. I feel like such a sucker.
Well, go give the 6.5. But you're asking yourself the question, which is, why in the hell is it dropping? Florida State's injury report that came out was good. It's the kind of injury report you want to see, and injury reports are now part of college football. And I'll tell you what, given what we know about this team and how closely we monitor this team, I would submit to you that Mike Norvell and Florida State are answering or providing the injury report in a much more earnest and honest way than you ever see in the NFL. This is the first year in college football where this exists. And good God, that is as thorough an injury report as you could give. You have the honesty about who's out. We already knew the players that were going to be out. I didn't know if we'd see a probable or a likely or a, doubtful or what we'd see. No, we saw out. The guys that are out are out. No more, no less. The guys that are out are out. No games being played. Not even games being played with those that are doubtful, because those are guys that could play tomorrow night if they needed to play in some cases. but are still dinged up and would not be 100%. And if you could avoid having to play them, you will. That's the definition of doubtful.
Well, correct. It's questionable on the college report, though. It goes out questionable.
Well, okay,
but yes,
questionable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and you're right. I didn't pull up the sheet in front of me right now for this segment, but I just, it's interesting to me that they're as forthcoming as they are. And by the way, Virginia's injury report to me was, I mean, they got problems.
That's a toughie.
They got a lot of guys out. So a few things. Let's try to answer or discern what Vegas is looking at here as to the number. It's Florida State's first road game of the year. So you just start with something simple like that. It's the first time they've played outside of Doak Campbell Stadium this year. It's a step up in competition over the last 2 weeks. So they've gotten very fat, just clubbing terrible teams that have no chance to compete. So maybe there's an initial shock of somebody having like speed or athletes, and you're on the road. So maybe you start a little slower, and there's a momentum build within the stadium there in Charlottesville, and Virginia begins to believe. And how does Florida State respond to that sort of adversity if it happens? Perhaps that's in there as well. I don't know. I don't know if they're looking into the fact that Tommy was a little dinged in the last game and they're not buying that he's 100%, because to me it feels a little bit like that.
That would have to be part of the math, but
wouldn't it? Wouldn't it have to be part of the math, like a big part of the math,
buddy,
Tom?
Unless something happened during practice this week, I think he's fine.
I believe he's fine. He
was walking around in the post practice. Yes, he was fine.
I never saw anything especially the next time we saw him after limping off. He looked fine.
Whispers around the fields were he's fine as well. In fact,
he said he was fine.
Somewhat surprised to see that he was probable and not 100% and not a no injury designation like Squirrel White, for example, who's not even on the report, which is great news. That's great news. But when I saw Tommy's name there, I was like, oh, I guess they decided to put him on. Okay, he's fine.
I don't know the answer. I think Florida State wins by more than the allotted point spread, and I have bet accordingly.
I think the number is solely due to, not solely, in large part due to they don't buy Florida State's secondary. I think that's what it is. It's Virginia scoring that keeps this within the margin. Virginia scoring a lot that keeps this within the margin. Do they think it's because Virginia's going to run the ball? There's no way. They think the Cavs are going to run the ball with consistency. They think it's going to be the passing attack and the quarterback run. That has to be it. It's the only way you'd handicap it this way.
It's interesting to me that you would have doubts about a secondary that played as well as it did against Alabama, against two upper crust, very, very eminently draftable in the near future receivers at Alabama.
Correct. And by you're not speaking to me, you're speaking to the Sharps, right? Because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the only way that you could arrive at that.
But I'm talking about how in the world you watch that game. It wasn't flukish. They covered well. Well, they covered one guy very, very well. Ryan Williams was shut down and thumped. They got pressure on the quarterback. If you watched Florida State get pressure on the quarterback against Alabama, you would maybe think, well, they're probably going to get pressure on the quarterback against Virginia. Doesn't make it so, but if you're deducing based on the evidence in the only real game Florida State's played, you'd say, well, Alabama's offensive line's a far cry better than Virginia's, and they found a way to get pressure repeatedly.
Right. Yeah, the principal differences here are this quarterback will look to run. Ty, that was a last resort. But I would say for all the times that I felt like we got away with busted coverages, and I think we did, and I think to a degree we have in a couple of weeks since then, consider how many runs Ty Simpson engaged in key moments in that game because he was looking downfield and because nothing was open. Florida State, in many instances, either got coverage sacks or coverage scrambles out of Alabama's quarterback because they were holding up on the back end enough. And they don't need to be perfect back there. They just need to be above average at covering Virginia, because if they do that, I think they're going to score plenty and Virginia won't be able to keep up with them, which again arrives to why is it 6.5 or 7.5?
Well, listen, it's you can make this case for, and it's interesting to me that, all right, they're of the belief that the first game is exactly that. It's a first game, and sometimes it can serve as an outlier or an anomaly, and maybe the two teams that day, here we go, feeding into the narrative that Alabama wasn't themselves yet, and Florida State caught Alabama just the right time. Two things can be true at the same time. Did Florida State catch Alabama at the right time? We said going into the game that if you were going to play Alabama this year, this is when you wanted to play them. We were going to unleash and spring new concepts and ideas and personnel on them. The game was here. They were breaking in a new quarterback. We did say that this is ideal to play them then. We thought that there's a good chance Alabama, and this is before the game kicked off, we thought there's a good chance Alabama's a much better version of themselves by week 6, week 5 than they are in week 1.
Right. Yes. The week of, I said it's within the margin for Florida State to win this game.
Right.
But there's just so many unknowns. What we are arguing for, you could also argue against Florida State and say it's a grand mystery. Who knows? Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're not buttoned up. But within about 3 drives,
you knew they were.
Oh my God, this not only is this group buttoned up, they look like the team that has had continuity, not the team that is all brand new.
Well, that is correct. And so, anyhow, I'll grant you that some of those things can be absolutely true. I think Alabama will get better as the year goes on, and I hope Florida State certainly gets better as the year goes on. It's also true that the two teams faced one another. The personnel that Florida State had that day, one in the trenches. Generally speaking, that gets, that stays the same as long as you're healthy. Moving forward, you're still going to be at the very least competent on the offensive line in the same manner that you were against Alabama. I don't think that suddenly, without a loss of a starter up front with that very experienced offensive line, it's not suddenly regressing to a place where all of a sudden you can't block Virginia. Yeah, I mean, I'd be very surprised. Now, some other things may come and go and ebb and flow based on the fact, hey, look, if Boggs is out, you're losing one of your starting wide receivers. And we'll see teams adjust based what they see on film. There's no film for game 1. So now all of a sudden you do get a different look from defenses where they'll try to take something away or they'll protect themselves a little bit better against certain looks. And so, yeah, I guess to Vegas's point, 1 day shorter rest on the road, sort of a nothing environment, a step up in competition for the first time in 3 weeks.
Look ahead.
A look-ahead game with Miami on deck, no doubt. I mean, I'm trying to put the pieces together to how you come out with 6.5. The thing is, and I'm not trying to just blatantly disrespect Virginia, but again, looking at Virginia and whom they've beaten and who they lost to, I don't think much at all of that NC State team. I don't think they're very good at all. And they beat this Virginia team. Now, you can argue Virginia should have won the game, but they gave up a ton of points. That defense looks slow.
That D-line got caved in by NC State's front. Even though they didn't want to run the ball traditionally all that much, they did end up by the end of the game. But they could have just done that and nothing else, and there's nothing Virginia could have done about it. But they wanted Bailey to get out and run. They wanted Bailey to get out and pass, and they were able to do anything that they wanted to do on offense in that game. NC State was.
Yeah, so, let's concede. Let's just say that Florida State's defense, the one that dominated Alabama, is maybe just a really well-coached, buttoned-up unit that knew what they were doing on that day and provided a lot of confusion and problems for a young quarterback. Well, not a young quarterback, young in terms of starts for Alabama on the road. Environment was awesome. Maybe that Florida State defense isn't as good as they appear to be in that game, perhaps. And we wouldn't know based on the next 2 games because the next 2 games they just overwhelmed. And that maybe that Vegas is saying, I just need a little bit more evidence. I'm not sure I'm buying everything that happened in week 1, and I really need to see it before I start buying into Florida State. Okay, fine, do that. But even if you did that, and we're in a room trying to set that line, I'm going to turn right around and say, yeah, okay, so give Virginia 24 points if you want, guys. How many points do you think Florida State's going to score?
Right.
This defense?
Yep. This is the exact exercise as you're speaking I'm doing in my head. I can get them at 28. I think if they go to 31, we're in the mid to upper 40s because that means we're playing a track meet. And maybe we're in the 50s. And the only way you get there with the evidence that we have before us is poor red zone execution, field goals, not touchdowns, and turnovers. And
you can't account for turnovers in a line. You're not doing that.
Well, and here's an extra thing I'll throw for you is the return game and the coverage game. they've got a better returner than anybody we have, at least that we've put on the field.
Well, that's for sure.
And our punter hasn't punted in a couple of weeks. We'll see what he does on the road. But their kicker sucks. So, he missed a inside a 30-yarder this year. So their kicking game's not good. They've got a very good return game. But if you're trying to come up with those things, it would be special teams, splash play or 2, turnovers, 1 or 2 to the good in the margin, red zone, finding a way to come away with 3s, not 7s when you're on defense. But you just have to stack all those things together.
You do, and you still come up with sort of a cluttered, messy 38-27 Florida State victory.
I still think it's 10-11.
Yeah, you still come up with something like that is what you end up doing. But you know what? I will say that I will grant that I think that there were plays that weren't made in the Alabama game. I think that there have been plays, as you just alluded to, that weren't made by the lesser teams, far lesser teams that are scheduled the last 2 weeks. And so maybe some of that gets exposed. And if I want to argue in favor of that, fine, put Virginia in the high 20s. I just don't see it on the other side. I just don't see where they're getting a ton of stops against Florida State. And so you end up winning in a pseudo shootout by more than the number. Now, there will be a lot for us to digest on Monday if that happens. If on Monday we're coming in here to talk about a still undefeated, and we got this huge matchup, Florida State, Miami, the whole thing. If we're coming in here talking about that, but it looks very different. It's 40-31 Noles you cover, but good God, you gave up 31 points. Yeah, it's a different conversation going into the Miami game. It's not oh my God, we can't win, but it's just a different conversation. Of course, there's always the possibility that the conversation is even more gratifying and assertive about what this Florida State team is too. There's that side of it as well. You can argue that maybe you come away from Charlottesville that much more certain that this is a very, very good team. Go win the game, as I said yesterday, 41-7. Now how's the conversation going to go?
Well, that would be lovely. I don't know that we hold them to 7. I don't know that they get to 28.
I'm just talking about extremes.
To your point. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a game where Virginia might rack up quite a bit of yardage and yards per play, but we get a couple of turnovers because we get downhill at corner. One thing I want to see, and this makes me a little nervous as I speak it out loud. I don't know that we need to rotate 16 in a ton at corner if we've got Rawls and Jerry Wilson healthy, and I'm talking on the outsides.
Mm-hmm.
Let those guys operate on the outside, and then we can mix and match in the middle if we need to. Because if you do get isolation here if you're Virginia, and you can do that through zone, and that can happen through zone coverages. I didn't love what I saw out of Quindarius last week. He had a couple of makeup plays towards the end, but he got roasted a few times as well. Maybe that's something that they're looking at is they think that Virginia's going to hit a shot or two. But the secondary and the linebacker play, how much better are the linebackers than last year? Coverage responsibilities being put in conflict, spying the quarterback, tracking the quarterback, taking good angles, all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be tested here. And then also the rush lanes. I think if we were an Adam Fuller system, you would be containing the quarterback and mush rushing, and that would be the end of it. But that's not what Tony White does. So there might be times that the quarterback breaks the pocket and you say, you lost contain. But if you look at what the front did from a stunting standpoint, they were trying to rush one way and the quarterback ran the other way. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen there that I'm interested to see how Tony schemes it up and how, obviously, Virginia plays it and how the quarterback plays it.
I think Tony's very malleable. I don't want to assume much of anything about the game plan here against Virginia because he certainly recognizes and watches tape and spends a lot of time analyzing every aspect of what he does. He knows damn well this quarterback can move. He knows this guy's a veteran player who can make plays and likes to. Yeah, he's not he's not a reluctant runner. He'll go. So I'm sure there's some adjustments, even if they're slight, to how he asks them to provide pressure in this game. We know what his base is. We know what he wants to do. We know what his MO is. But, all of these coordinators, certainly, if they're worth their salt, adjust accordingly based on the prowess or lack thereof of a particular type of quarterback.
But you could have Darrell Jackson lining up in the middle or Juju Wynn if he is activated for this game, or a Desir who lines up closer to the football, but they're the ones that are going to set the edge at the end of the play. Like, don't just summarily yell at James Williams because he might be stunting to the inside, and that's not his responsibility to set the edge. He might be the guy they're scheming up to create havoc on a given play.
They against Alabama, he did it a lot. They had him crash straight down and earhole the center at times, like just clogging the middle. On that third down play, they clogged the middle intentionally by having the end crash, and he ends up hitting the pulling guard head up, and he hits him under the chin like a man. And that's the best play he's made, by the way, because he's been a little soft at times. But that was a grown man's play.
Sure. I'm not saying you can never criticize him. What I'm saying is a lot of times in this game, the edge rusher before the snap is not the guy who is in charge of contain after the snap.
When he does that, they end up having somebody fill.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to watch. It's a loop, and it's gorgeous to watch. Yeah, the James Williams moment where he's asked to crash an ear hole, either a pulling guard or tackle, or ear hole the center, is hilarious. Because when you watch it, it shocks you. Like, as you're watching in slow mo, you're like, oh, good God, he had James just crash straight down and spear him in the neck. I like it.
Tony White is not afraid to sacrifice a chess piece in order for the greater good.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I will take this pawn, and I know you're going to kill him, but here I'm setting you up.
That's
sir.
Right. I'll even give you a rook.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a valuable piece. Yep. Oh, your queen's gone.
And
Thank you very much.
Game, set, match.
Yeah, that's who he is. But for Alabama and that offense with Grubb, who really wants to pass the ball from the pocket, their goal was to get Simpson off his spot. In this case, I don't know that that's your goal. Even though the kid can spin it, which way would you rather have him beat you?
It's the whole game. I mean, the kid is the only way Virginia wins. I say the kid. He's 24 years old. He's seen a lot. He's played a lot of college football. He's a smart player. He's athletic. He extends plays. If he has one of those games that we always remember, and there's been plenty of guys that we can name that have one of those games.
The Scott Wood version of a quarterback's
sweet
night.
Jesus. Yeah. Another 3. Somebody accidentally trip into that man's testicles. Anyhow, so there we are watching one of those performances, and you're going, okay, all right, guys, it's one of those nights. It's one of those nights, and that can happen. We'll allow for it. It can happen. Let's hope it does not.
This is why I'm glad they got beat on that trick play last week. This is what I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's fodder. You get an opportunity to teach and say, hey, see.
Because I think DeShields has, and I'll revise something I said earlier in the week, DeShields has the same competency of Chandler Morris that he can do either. Now, Morris is faster.
Yeah.
When Morris decides to turn it up and go.
And also bigger.
Yes, he's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's denser. Yeah, much denser body. Yeah. But what they also did see in week 1 against Ty Simpson was once Ty decided to run, he's extremely elusive, and they're about on the same level of elusiveness. But that's good to see that in real speed, as a D lineman, as a safety, as a linebacker, that Simpson could evade you. That practice, I think, will come in very good handy tomorrow night.
Well, remember, you're aided by your everyday practices against a guy that might be the most elusive quarterback in the country.
Very true.
So every day you're seeing somebody who is really, really phenomenally upper echelon good with his feet. It doesn't always mean you're going to go make plays time and again against it, because a lot of people struggle with a mobile quarterback. Almost all people struggle with a mobile quarterback. But it's nice that you have a lot of experience of dealing with it. All right, got to get to those picks. I'll do it momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Day in Tallahassee starts with energy, and nothing fuels that spirit like Grassroots Coffee brand new End Zone Blend.
That's right. Every cup of End Zone Blend doesn't just taste incredible, it also supports our Florida State Seminoles football program.
Grassroots Coffee knows it's about commitment and being all in. Every sip of End Zone Blend helps push the program forward, supporting the grind and the climb.
So whether you're at home, have a business, or just getting fired up before kickoff, make End Zone Blend part of your game plan.
Support local and our favorite coffee roaster. Order Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend today at grassrootscoffee.com. And let's keep driving the Noles to victory.
It's that easy. Drink Grassroots Coffee and help support the Florida State Seminoles. And don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order at grassrootscoffee.com.
Grassroots Coffee's brand new End Zone Blend.
Grassroots Coffee.
Made for everyone.
Loved everywhere.
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine. And we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
Number CCC 1335048.
Feeling sluggish? Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994. Trade-ins are not only welcome, but to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So it is that I would get this question from many of you. I see one in the chat now, so let me answer some from memory and some from the fact that my nephew graduated UVA Law and spent some time in Charlottesville. Game like Dylan writes, Jeff and Tom on the road to Seaville right now. Any favorite spots I should hit while in town? Thanks for all the content for the road trip. Go Noles. Yeah, the first place that I always think of is Miller's downtown. You've got pool tables upstairs, cigars, all the like. The mood is awesome. Music, all of it. You'll like it. It's quality. It's the place many people who are familiar with Charlottesville will know that that's the place that like Dave Matthews hits when he's in town, undercover, takes to the stage, plays a set and leaves, that kind of stuff. It's a cool place. So that's one. Dirty Nelly's is another one. Dirty Nelly's is a pub and deli.
And deli?
Pub and deli.
Boy, that's after my own heart.
Good food and good stuff. It's Jefferson Park Avenue, if I remember. Anyhow, so there's places. I'll think of some others, and I've already reached out to some people who are either from there, went there, know a lot about there, but there's a couple off the top of my head. There you go. Enjoy the drive. Be safe. My Virginia guy says I was correct. It is on Jefferson Park Avenue. I got it right. Hey. It was easy for me to remember that one just because Park Avenue is famous. Jefferson's famous. Jefferson Park Avenue.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, but we are from Epps Park Avenue around here.
Yes.
As we take that trophy home after tomorrow night.
JDT, thanks, man. Give the Campster a thumbs up. Drive that YouTube I'll go. Woo! Appreciate that. Going for 4 straight weeks of FSU over and FSU first half over, according to Tom. Teaser pleasers have been golden for me this year, playing with the house's money the rest of the way. Bohica Hard Rock. Woo! Well done, Tom. I like Tom's challenging Hard Rock because I do that with Hard Rock too. They piss me off. We spent all this time trying to get gambling legalized, and we did. And then, damn it, man, we have the one app that just bends us over when it comes to the odds. Oh, you can play, you can gamble, you can do it. One touch, it's easy. But instead of minus 105 everywhere else, minus 160, 170 here. That number is 6 across the board. FanDuel, DraftKings, you name it, MGM, Bet, ESPN, everywhere. Oh, it's 7.5 here, is it? I see how you roll. Just that's what's going on with the Hard Rock. A little frustrating.
Every gas station is a Texaco, and they're all 20 cents more than
and
everywhere
like,
else.
Man, what are we doing? Jags and Noles, what are the odds that this coaching staff can figure out the major punt return problem? Go Noles. It's got to be high. It's not a difficult problem to solve. This is one of those things that drives me nuts. Some things you just don't have the personnel for. Some things you'll go, you know why they stink at this? Because the guys they're asking to do it aren't good enough. Like, we've had some basketball teams that can't shoot. Very frustrating when you watch a basketball team that can't shoot, given the object of the game. And you'll watch that game, and you'll see them shoot a lowly 21% from 3. Next time out, you might see a robust 28%. And then you get the occasional 30%. You're like, oh, well, all right. Then it's 16%. You're like, so they can't shoot, guys. Let's just understand that you can kick out for an open look all you want. My man ain't knocking that down. He's not knocking that down. You better catch him on a heater because his profile tells you he can't shoot. And that ain't going to change. So when we get to, game 12 or game 20, still not shooting because he can't. And that doesn't change. And then you get mad. You get people, well, why? Shoot the 3. No, don't. He can't shoot it.
I love in the course of one game, this happens an awful lot in college basketball. It's happened here. Within 40 minutes, you can tell that the play-by-play announcer doesn't know that you can't shoot.
Oh.
But by the time you get to the 16-minute mark of the second half, they do know you can't shoot. So what happened for the first 5 times you kicked out, he kicks it out to the corner for 3. Oh, back iron. Kicks it out to the corner for 3. No, that one's wide by the second half. And it's kicked out to the corner. And nope. That'll be rebound number 12 for the Eagles going the other way. Yeah, the enthusiasm gets drained from the play-by-play man.
And it gets drained from you and your soul as well as a fan. You're just that's a wide open look. A lot of good players knock that down. Average players knock that one down. Nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen today, not tomorrow, not next week. Not going to knock that one down. It's used to tell my friend all the time back in the day, there's a reason you're always open. And they, what? I'm like, There's a reason.
Yep. And then towards the end of the game, instead of kicks it out wide over 3, it's a Smith with a pull-up 3. Back iron.
Yeah. That's
we're going to dismiss that.
All right, post those babies. Let's go. Let's get to the wagers. I did it differently today because I'm going to have a lot of games. I can't give you my entire card. I just wanted to go college here and have some fun with it this morning. So I sent these over to Tom. Pay me, Martha. Let's keep the ball rolling. 8-2 last week, I believe it was. Kicking ass. I took the Noles minus the 7. You can get it for 6.5, so go do it. Duke minus 5.5. Not a believer in Syracuse. Line's messed up because Syracuse beat Clemson, and Clemson didn't play real hard for 3 quarters. Good on you, Syracuse. Good on you, Fran Brown. I don't believe in you. Give me Duke and lay the 5.5. I like Kansas. I do. I think Leipold's one of the best coaches in the country, and they got a loss to Missouri. Missouri's good. I'll trust them against a game Cincinnati team. That's not a bad Cincinnati team, but I'm going to trust you, Leipold. And lay the 4.5. Washington's beat up. A lot of injuries. I'd love to pull for the Huskies. I will pull for the Huskies. I hope I'm wrong. Well, that's not true. If Washington's going to cover, I just want them to win. But go ahead and lay the 8.5 because I don't think they're going to. By the way, if you guys are interested in a burger in Charlottesville, Jack Brown's has a very, very good burger. Jack Brown's. Write that one down when you're
It's
in
also the name of a very good local beer. Jack
Brown's. LSU money line. They're going to beat Ole Miss. Tom disagrees. We're betting head-to-head for tall boys. Head-to-head for tall boys. I took LSU. I took the great Brian Kelly at plus 100. Let's go.
Yeah, I do not like being on the side of Lane Kiffin. Family. I do not like being on Lane Kiffin's side.
Whoa, you love the great Lane Kiffin.
I think, this is the fraudulent bowl of the SEC West variety. That's what this is. Who's the bigger fraud every year? If you watch that game, and I did last year, LSU and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I bet LSU out of spite against Lane. It was a personal bet. Shouldn't have done it. I won somehow. I can't tell you how.
Didn't feel like you deserved to, did you?
2 words, Lane Kiffin. That's how I won that ball game.
Lane's weird because Lane will also, and you'll concede this, Lane will also scheme it up.
Oh, sure.
There'll
absolutely.
be games where Lane just straight up won that game because of Lane's offensive prowess. And there are games where you're like, Lane, what are we doing out here?
Well, frankly, that's a bit of the knock historically on Gus. Like Gus rose up for a game and you go, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, he had a little something for you.
They're never going to be stopped.
Alabama is saying it to the heavens to this day, especially with the added data point of this year.
Right. And then they'll play Arkansas or Mississippi State, and you'll be like, Gus, what the hell?
Well, I think that centers more around the ability to stop the quarterback from running.
Yeah.
I think things begin to go sideways for Gus when they just take an entire element away.
Tomorrow's opponent ain't that.
That is correct. There are some teams on the schedule that can do something about that, limited as they are. But we'll see. This doesn't seem to be one of them. I agree with you. All right. So we're dueling. Tom and I are on that one.
Yeah, I feel ugly, but sure.
Oh, you don't think I feel dirty rallying for Brian Kelly? I'm just not going to ask you to get up there on that platform and take a picture. Iowa plus 7.5 against Indiana. I'm offended by the line. I love you, Sigs, but this is wrong. Iowa at home? You know how tough it is to roll on in there?
I believe that was the landing's placard, the sign outside the landing. I love you, Sigs.
I always describe the landing as cigarettes and pregnancy test kits. There you go. I'll take Iowa plus 7.5. I know Iowa's defense looked terrible against Rutgers, so this may be a bet on the past, but I'm doing it. They can block it up. Oregon plus 3.5 against Penn State. I'm tempted to just take Oregon to win the game. I'm going to make you, Franklin. I'm going to make you prove it. Every year, people prattle on about Penn State. Georgia minus 2.5 against Bama. I did it. It's now moved to 3. I think it's moving around again. I'll just lay the 2.5. South Carolina minus 5.5 against Kentucky. I talked to Tom about this morning. Man, I'm sad for Mark Stoops. He missed his window.
Had 2 of them.
Mark missed his window. He had a window. He didn't hit the escape. Could have gone on, parlayed that into a real job. Didn't do it. Started to suck, rebuilt it quickly, had another good season, needed to springboard that good season, that 10-win season of Kentucky, into a job. Didn't, and now he's stuck. They're going to be middling for the rest of his time there. Nobody even talks about Mark Stoops anymore. You blew it, Mark. Might as well take it back to Youngstown. Take it back to Youngstown, lead your hometown team, and do something from Youngstown.
Maybe there's an associate athletic director job for him at Oklahoma.
TCU plus 3 against Arizona State tomorrow. I like TCU to win that conference, so I had to take the 3. Kind of want TCU to lose the game long-term for our benefit. And then there's a look ahead here. I just happened to see it this morning. You can already bet Florida State, Miami. The lines are out. There is a line out, and I got 4 for Florida State right off the bat. And I went, well, I'm taking it because I'm as we sit here today, I'm picking Florida State to win. I'm sure as hell going to take the 4. Pay me. Keep it rolling. I know how this works. When you are rolling, and then you have a week like this where you don't feel the same conviction that you did a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you know what it is. What it is you get me to 6-4. You get me to 6-4 with those bad boys.
All right, just get out of here with a win.
Get out of here with a winning week, and let's keep this thing going. Now, tomorrow, I will bring to the table some NFL props and some other items that I like. Didn't want to get to it today. I didn't have enough time to study everything that I wanted, and I didn't want to send you guys down the wrong path. You know?
Yeah. You're me next week leaving Hotel Indigo for my penthouse for the game.
That's correct.
It's like, just get me through Gaines. No incidents here. Let's go.
Just need to get home.
No funny business.
I can't believe you're not going in the first quarter into the stadium.
I'm not. Yeah.
I know you're not. I'm saying that atmosphere is going to be incredible.
I do. And I know that whoever's with you needs to prepare their traps for the karate chops. Because nobody gets fired up for FSU Miami like you do. And this being a 25-year high in terms of, I think, the home atmosphere and the stakes on the line.
Yeah.
Your sons, your father, they need to be the people in front of you, the season ticket holders in front of you. They got to be prepared to get beaten.
I think I'm going on the roof for that one, though. I actually think I'm in the box for that one. Going to go up on the roof.
For old time's sake. Tell the moths I said hello.
I do need to, and whatever some of those alien bugs are that just fly into your face. Like, what was that thing?
They are the size of a softball.
Yeah, you're like, that thing could have really hurt somebody. Shannon Young made the move to be a part of Cross Country Mortgage. That's well and good. But I like telling you about Shannon because he's great at his job. He's now equipped because of the extra help from Cross Country Mortgage to give you better rates, better options, stronger support, faster service. He's also a goal-oriented, relentless, high-energy, passionate man, great at his job, unwavering commitment. That's what I'm talking about. He helps his fellow Noles and everybody else get the best possible loan options to buy that new home. Learn more, loansfornoles.com. loansfornoles.com.
Our local news now.
An Apalachicola man died Tuesday morning after being hit by a vehicle on Market Street.
If you're just thinking about buying some shorts, you need to get them from Chubby's. And I'll tell you how and how to save money in just a moment. But they have an NFL line, which is really cool. Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear. If you're a fanatical fan, but you don't want to wear a jersey, like you're not a jersey guy. Maybe you're my age, and at my age, it's hard to pull off a jersey. You could be Tom's age, but I don't think you could be mine wearing jersey. So there's an elite alternative. Tom, pull up what we got here with Chubby's. Look at all these. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Show me the Miami Dolphins one. I've got my Bucket Ears Chubby's shirt that they sent me, but I haven't seen what the Dolphins look like or the Jags look like. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I like the far left Hawaiian shirt for those of you just listening on the pod, but look at that. That is what we do right there. So a Dolphins game day shirt, and they need your help at Miami. So, wear your gear, be proud, do the right thing. For a limited time, you can use our exclusive code JCS for $10 off at chubbysshorts.com/JCS. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. Let those thighs hang out and let the good times roll. And here, for a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving you listeners $10 with the promo code JCS at chubbysshorts.com/JCS. That's $10 off your order with the promo code JCS, and that includes the NFL collection. Support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Express yourself and level up your game day wardrobes with our friends at Chubby's.
Learn more at floridadisaster.org. This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Wow, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played. But
and you still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I spilled a drink on myself right before we came back. No equipment. No equipment hit. Just a lap. Just a lap.
Not like Stormy G on the board at NLS. I wish I was there for that.
Damn it, man. This was my cup. I saved some of it.
One of our mutual friends let a big gulp go all over.
Oh, man. The board.
It was, of all the boards in the entire building, the board.
My favorite part was that if you wrote that up in a movie scene for comedic effect, you would have what happened happen. Both the facial expression followed by the smoke rising from the console. Knowing that Millar was going to flip out.
Oh, yeah. And he could be ruthless. He really could.
But also knowing that the reason Millar was going to flip out was because Randy was going to flip out. And there was just a succession of flipping out. The engineer, and all engineers are weird, is going to flip out. It's a toughie.
Federal regulations demand.
Here we go. I'll tell you about the BBC.
This is the operating software you need to make sure they don't know where you are. Every transaction tells a story.
Yeah, no, I did.
Although I very much enjoyed working with Randy.
I love working with
nice
Randy. I've run into him here and there over the years, and he was always good to me.
Have you recently?
I ran into him 2 years ago. I was at a restaurant, and he was there.
I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, Randy was great. Crazy, but great.
That's right.
All engineers are a little crazy. Like if you're listening to me and you're an engineer, you know you're twisted. You know you get some issues. There's some. You're touched. You're a little touched.
Yeah, you have to be. We were off the
There's
air.
the good and the bad to that. There's the good and the bad.
Off the air once at ESPN, and I called over to our guy in Panama City. It's a wasp nest. I'm like, I haven't even told you the problem. He's like, the DB node? Is the DB node 0? I said, yeah. He goes, it's a giant wasp nest. That's it.
Is the DB node?
Or it was actually an EB node, I think. But yeah, it was reading zeros. That's a wasp nest. You got to get out there and knock it off.
No, I don't. Somebody else needs to go do this.
And he was right.
Anyhow, rain delay in the first between the Buccos and the Reds. So they did it. They did it last night for you again, Tom. You're welcome. Pirates win in extra innings. And they do it in the most painful way imaginable. They screw my man Paul Skeens again, who pitches 6 shutout innings with 7 Ks, finishes the year with a sub-2 ERA. He becomes the first pitcher to do many, many things, but he'll be 10-10 as well because they cannot hold leads when he gets them, and he cannot score. They cannot score. They did enough last night to beat the Reds again and save your Mets again.
Thank you. One more. I'm really grateful for everything you've done. I need you to do it again.
Well, what you're saying to me as a Pirates guy and the Pirates in general is, look, given the brutalizing you laid on my Mets in a way that makes no sense before that series began, this is the least you could do is come back around and hand it to the Reds.
Correct. Especially since they swept the Cubs for 4. Thanks a lot, Chicago. Like, what was that? Come on, Cubs. What are you doing?
I find it all funny. I don't know if I missed any more questions, but we got 2 minutes, and I'll get into them in the second hour here. But I do think, by the way, that I do think Virginia will present a few problems early, and then I think Florida State's going to pull away. And really, I think we're going to feel pretty comfortable tomorrow night late.
I hope that's exactly what happens because they do have some things. We talked a lot about mesh rail this week, and you can run that against man or zone. They do have some things that they can take shots with and isolate one-on-one matchups. I feel like there are some downhill plays coming from the secondary tomorrow. It could be interceptions. It could be extremely physical hits over the middle, a la what Earl Little was trying to do to Ryan Williams in the fourth quarter of the ball game in week 1, and he missed. It just feels like there's some of those moments coming for the secondary tomorrow night that are uncomfortable in the right way, because that means that your group is willing to put it on the line against a group of receivers that are pretty talented.
The format for tomorrow is a normal Jeff Cameron show for the first 2 hours, and the third hour is going to serve as our pregame show. So we were going to do a pregame show either way, but given it's a Friday game, we decided first 2 hours live, doing our thing, third hour pregame show, and people have asked about it in the chat, so I'm just trying to get everybody the layout for what we're going to do tomorrow, and I kind of look forward to doing that pregame show just because, again, getting a more substantial data point here in this Virginia game than we've got in the last 2 weeks. It was really nice to have the breather. It was really nice to play an opponent that simply could not beat you fresh off the Alabama win, because then you could let that linger and you could revel in that a lot longer because you didn't have to turn right around and get focused on a game that mattered. So that was all appreciated. But by the time we got to that third part of this, it was not fun. I was ready to start playing real opponents again because now I just want to see how good we are. So this will be a fun pregame show.
Bowl game preseason. Now here we go. Preseason's over.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Hey, you. Can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass. Oh, but I just wanted to feel it. Excuse me? I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor? They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound? Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn. For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567. Stay off my lawn.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
That chip turned into a crack? No worries. Better call Seminole. We'll fix your glass faster than you can say road trip.
Road trip?
Mobile service, expert installs, and no headaches. Call 850-539-4527, 850-539-4527, or go to SeminoleAutoglass.com. Your glass, your rules, but seriously, better call Seminole.
Seminole Auto Glass.
When you need the plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to wait?
Hey guys, we really need you over here. My toddler just flushed a whole bunch of toys down the toilet, and everything, and I mean everything, is backing up.
2 hours?
Hey guys, just checking in. The water has reached the hallway now, and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here, and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3.
What's up, gang? It's an easy one. I've told you guys on the air before. Now, Harry's doesn't know this. Harry's makes razors. They know that. But they don't know that on the Jeff Cameron Show, I've talked about using Harry's. See, I've got the razor right here. Now, this is set up to go to travel because I am traveling this weekend, so I've already prepared. and they gave me a nice little travel-sized bottle to bring with me. Sorry, you want to see this side? This is Harry's. They sent your boy razors and wanted me to talk about it. But I was like, I already use Harry's. I love Harry's. So this is easy. I'm kind of obsessed with razors. It goes way back. I started by getting angry at the cost of razors. You all know we're all men here, and it's difficult. Well, maybe not all men. I don't know. Women might use the Harry's on their legs or something too. I don't know. But the point is, for years I was searching for the right blade, and I didn't want to spend $1 gazillion on razors. And then finally, I settled on, by accident, Harry's. And now I won't use anything else. I only use Harry's. First of all, Harry's owns their own factory. They've been perfecting and manufacturing these blades, the whole blades process they've been perfecting for 100 years. So you're getting the very best blade. And I want my blades sharp. I don't want to have to struggle to shave my face. I want to get in, get out. Look at this baby face. Look at it. I shaved using Harry's this morning. For a limited time, our listeners can get Harry's trial set for only $8 plus a free gift at harrys.com/warchant. Head over to harrys.com/warchant to receive our exclusive discount. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Jeff Cameron Show by letting them know, and Warchant for that matter, that you heard about it on this show, okay? So harrys.com/warchant. Tell them we sent you. You're not going to regret it. I'm telling you, fellas, Harry's, it's where it's at. harrys.com/warchant.
It was about a tortilla, but it turned into a wrap.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Injured? Call Facek Brooks and come back stronger. Offices, Tallahassee.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Attention all sandwich lovers. Café de Martín is bringing Peruvian fire to your lunch break with their all-new summer sandwich combos. Asado that melts in your mouth. Fried fish so fresh and crispy, it snaps. And smoked pork or chicken? Yes, please. Comboed with Peruvian fries and an iced tea for just $15. Available Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 3. Upgrade your lunch at Café de Martín in the Espositos Shopping Center. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
you very, very, very much. There's the list. The ACC's new policy requiring weekly injury reports is underway, and Florida State submitted theirs. By the way, I love this. You know why I do, but I think it's important. If you're going to take the money, you kind of got to do the right thing there by the people who are helping raise those funds, if you will, for the sites that provide the gambling. Listed as out for this game for Florida State is running back Cam Davis. Roydell Williams also out. He remains out. DeMonte Diggs out. Tight end Chase Lofton out. Gavin Markey out. And Ethan Pritchard obviously out. So that is the list of those that are out. Questionable, Javon Boggs, Kevin Wynn. Now, I think we feel like Juju Wynn's going to play.
I think there's a shot he gets in for a few snaps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the number would be crazy, but all things point towards him being in good shape for Miami next week, whether he gets on the field tomorrow or not.
But I think if he can play and he feels good and he's close to 100%, then I think you put him out there and you get some reps before you face Miami. Miami's got a very good offensive line. It's a hell of a thing to walk into and not have played it down in college football.
For sure. It would most certainly help. However, we had a lot of guys who were first-timers play Alabama, and they held up just fine. And that also means that you don't depend on Juju Wynn. The way it felt like it when we were covering it in preseason camp, the coaches were talking about him, and Tony White and teammates and Darryl Jackson, you're thinking, if we don't have this guy, we're going to lose. And then everything was okay without him. So he's an added asset.
Luckily, the linebacker that I've been anxious to see is listed as questionable. I like this kid. I'm interested to see him play. He's a kid who in North Carolina's bowl game showed a lot of instincts and was very physical. I think he's bigger than he was then, but was dealing with of an injury of some kind in fall camp. Really couldn't get a good look at him there in the way that we wanted to. I think they like him as well. So it's it'll be interesting to see if he plays because he's listed under questionable. I think they would like to get him out there. Probably depends on the game situation at this point. Obviously, Boggs played in each of Florida State's first 3 games. And those guys are all questionable, meaning I think they could play if you need them to play. So we'll see. Probable, which might as well be a full go. Randy Pittman Jr., Tommy Castellanos. That's probably the most important one I should mention. And Keziah Holmes as well.
And he was inactive last week and just wearing his jersey, no pads and shorts. But it's important to note that Squirrel White is not on that list at all. That's great. That's great.
Back at 100% is what that tells me, or something close to it. Virginia, now, on the other hand, just so you know, when you're sizing up the matchup, and that's what we've been doing, and we're a day away from the game, has a lot of guys. One might say they have been beset by injury. 13 are listed as out. Not just questionable, not just probable, out. 13 players. Woo! That'll hurt your feelings. And that includes up front on the offensive line. That also includes the secondary. That is that's problematic, I would think. A couple of those guys are very important. So we'll see how much that impacts the game. But definitely interesting to have a new policy. To be able to see the injury lists and see how Florida State handles it. I praised Florida State at the beginning of the show by noting that I thought they were incredibly honest, transparent with their lists there.
What's interesting about the designation is usually the NFL has a build-up process to declaring inactives. And sometimes they will declare them outright before Sunday. But a lot of times you need to take it to 11:30 a.m. on a Sunday before they outright declare guys out for the game. That's why for fantasy football players, for bettors, 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday is a very important time to learn who you play, who you don't, what you can bet, what you don't want to bet. Here you go 2 days before, and you already have out designations. A lot of them. I think that is helpful. And then we will get a second injury report 2 hours before kickoff. So for those questionables and probables, you'll get some answers in that regard at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
So some of you talked about it in the chat. I don't mind alluding to it now. Yes, we'll get more into it when we talk a lot more about pro football and pro baseball and pro anything in that third hour that we usually do. We pivot greatly in that third hour a lot of times. And that's kind of been the direction of the way we've done the show since adding that third hour. And I have said many times this week that we should be paying close attention to what is going on with Florida State's own Cal Raleigh. He did hit number 59 and number 60, and it is an amazing accomplishment. And he still has a chance. He still has a chance to tie Judge and, if not surpass Judge, and be the all-time American League home run leader, which is already insane. To add to the ledger of things that he has already done as a catcher, a switch hitting catcher, you're just seeing the numbers become mind-numbing, and you realize he's changed his life forever. And we had a chance to talk to him when he was here. He's a great guy. He was a very, very good player here, but I don't know that his play here portended, if you will. Nothing we saw here would we have said portends of this kind of greatness. Always had pop, but man, this is effortless power from both sides of the plate. And it is cool to see the look on his face. There's no shortage of videos. Go surf the webs, if you will, and find. I know MLB did a great job of releasing 3 or 4 different videos with different camera angles and different shots and different calls, TV call, radio call, you name it, cinematic drama. They had everything, right? They put it all together. Go find those tweets from last night, those video releases from last night when he hits his prodigious 59th home run to the third deck, which is just pissed on. I mean, that ball it sounds like a gun going off. It's so loud when you just hear the crowd mic, the field mic. It is that loud. And then the 60th home run, Tom and I were talking during the break when we rewatched it. I've probably seen it 30 times. Just the childlike giddiness, the look on his face as number 60 leaves the yard is so cool. And you even get the glimpse of, and I'm glad to see this because it's probably hard to do, the time he takes around the bases and the way he's looking out into the crowd, and kind of you can tell he's trying to let that wash over him. He's trying to soak all of that in etch.
Yeah, he's tickled by the moment. He's trying to hit a home run because the game's is short. He's trying to hit a home run because the division now is in command. Have they clinched it officially yet? I don't know. The series against the Astros last week went an awful long way. But, I mean, for the last couple months, yeah, he's running down these crazy home run numbers, but they're in the thick of it. They are battling for their postseason lives. And so you can't focus on anything that you're accomplishing because you're too busy as the catcher who's got to manage a pitching staff and a hitter who's trying to win on the margins to keep you guys alive to play in October. But then they go on this run that they've gone on the last few weeks.
Well, they won 16 of 17.
Right, exactly. And so they're going to this unholy place to now where they may not have to play the best of 3 to start it out.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But now that you've gotten all of those things done, you can sit back and let it wash over you for a minute. And he did. And I wouldn't be surprised if he hits another one today because for Cal, they come in bunches.
Well, I want to point out something else, too, on the heels of that 60th home run, something else that happened. And this marks 2 days in a row where I've been given the opportunity because of something that another person did to celebrate a cool moment of humanity. And, look, we see a lot of bad all the time. It is omnipresent. It is everywhere. Sometimes the simplest of gestures can be the best to make your day. And it's happened in baseball twice in the last week. The guy that caught Mike Trout's 400th home run, when they went to him and said, "What do you want in exchange for the ball?" We're used to people like holding players and teams for, ransom. I kind of understand in some cases it could be life-altering money. It could be worth millions of dollars and all that. At the same time, you kind of just wish that the simpler approach to, hey, man, you've earned this. Here's your ball. You're going to want to hold on to this. That's pretty cool. And in all likelihood, not only are you going to want to, but if you don't, the Hall of Fame will. So, I don't know. Whatever you guys want to give me, I'll take. Something like that doesn't usually happen. But the fan this time around on Trout's 400th home run said, no, I don't need anything from you guys. I would like to just play catch with Mike Trout just for a few minutes, just play catch. And Mike, of course, was, speaking of tickled, he thought that was great and did. And they had a catch. They just had a catch. How cool is that for the fan? Had to be cool for Mike Trout. Got his ball. They had their catch. So the man who caught the 60th home run from Cal Raleigh last night, calmly handed it to a child. The ball is estimated to be worth $250,000. So this is pretty cool. You'll see it. After catching Raleigh's historic 60th homer, a Mariners fan immediately handed the ball to a young fan in the stands, a gesture that quickly went viral across all the baseball platforms, social media platforms. And that's when people wanted to know, well, how much did he just give away? And Ken Golden, who is CEO of Golden Auctions, estimates quickly that the ball would be worth around $250,000 if he finishes the season with 60 home runs. Keep in mind, this will be the all-time record for a catcher, one that would seem to be difficult to break in my lifetime, certainly considered durability in games played of most catchers. He also noted the uniqueness of the moment happening in Seattle. Quote, it's also interesting that this is a Seattle Mariner, not the traditional Yankees, Giants, Dodgers, even Cardinals and Cubs that we've seen in the past. We will see how much support he has, and we have to remember there are a lot of wealthy people in the Seattle area that would maybe also want that ball. Still, while the ball may have been worth a fortune, the moment and the memory for both fans involved proved priceless. You can find that online as well. Very, very cool. They've clinched the American League West title, has Seattle, Tom, to answer your question. And the Mariners sit one game back of the Yankees for the AL's top seed with 4 games to play. If they overtake New York down the stretch, the Mariners would secure a first-round bye, home field advantage throughout the AL playoffs, and obviously a great stage for Cal Raleigh to do more where he's already a fan favorite and superhuman out there in Seattle. So, yeah, his life's changed forever.
I'm not saying I'm that fan from Philadelphia, that woman, but I'm also not this guy from Seattle. I would keep the baseball. I would maximize the value of the baseball. And then you know what I'd do for the kid if I felt bad?
You'd give him some money?
No, I'd get him. No, because he wants the experience. So I'd see what it would cost to get him on the field before the game or get him seats behind home plate for a playoff game as part of the proceeds of the wonderful amount of money that
you just collected
befell my way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. If you caught that ball, knowing the circumstances, if it was the 50-50 Ohtani ball, whatever these moments are that you can predict are coming, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to hold on to that. Now, the question is, do you want to be in the mosh pit to earn it? Remember Barry Bonds' record-breaking home run? And what center field? I think it was, did he go to left center or right center in Pac Bell Park in Oracle Park? I forget where he went for the Hank Aaron record-breaking home
I think it was
run.
right center.
Yeah, so it was a deep part of the ballpark. But remember the mosh pit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, once you decide you're in on something like that, you're keeping the hell. There might be many children around me, but I am keeping this ball, and I'm going to maximize the dollars.
Well, yeah, with the Bonds one too, we wouldn't feel so bad because screw him.
Right.
But also, you are now in prized possession of the most home runs ever hit in a single season, and so this is going to be decisively more money for you in that moment.
Sure, that's millions, but I mean, there's $250,000. Hey,
$250,000 ain't nothing. Sure. Yeah.
I'll give the kid my hat. I'll give him my scorecard.
He doesn't want another fan's hat. Thanks, stranger, for your hat.
I'm a celebrity now. I'm the guy who caught the ball. I'm keeping that ball, man. That's a lot of it. You think Dad's going to let him keep it, or is he going to put it on the mantle? Because that's the thing. You give it to the kid, Dad's going to be like, well, son, look at that. You'll never forget this memory. And that's all. Because
now your college is paid for.
We're going to make some more memories.
Yeah, man, that is I've wrestled with this. There's the part of me that just genuinely wants to give the ball back to the guy who achieved this sort of greatness, this single season greatness. You're just like, just get the man his ball. He did it. It's great. The other part of me is like, well, I get gouged for these tickets.
Right. He isn't paid nothing to play the game.
Multi-millionaire. Yeah.
To him, this is like stroking a check for $3,000 or $4,000. If he wanted to do it himself, that would be the equivalent to you or me stroking a check for a few grand. I think he'll live. And I think he might make some more money himself off of this home run, too.
Well, I also think that, like you're right. Also, does the ball get devalued if Cal goes yard tonight and goes yard tomorrow? And
sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to sell it, you got to sell it now.
To which the auction house will be like, I can give you $80,000.
Yeah.
It could be worth $250, but we'll have to wait for this weekend.
Yeah. Who are the Mariners facing? Who's on the bump? Right. I need to know because, damn it, man.
Isn't it the Dodgers? Don't they play
at the end of the year?
I feel like they play interleague.
Well, the thing is with the Rockies, they still have the Rockies today, right?
Yes, one more day.
Well, this is the one where you have to hold your breath.
Yeah, it is the Dodgers. And the Dodgers could have it all sewn up, so you might be facing, even though they've got 90 pitchers, you might be facing some of the worst pitchers they have.
Yeah, the better odds are for tonight for him to go yard. I mean, it's the Rockies. This is the one. They pretty much serve him batting practice on the regular. So this could be the one where he gets to 62 tonight. I mean, who knows, but if you're in prized possession of the 60th, you're like, well,
yeah, you're playing deal or no deal.
So he gave it to the kid, and I have no idea what the kid and his parents are going to do with the ball. We don't know. I'm sure that'll be a story. We'll find out.
It'll be acceptable for the father to take the ball away from his son and sell it.
I wonder, what would you – yeah, man, that's a toughie because you're the father. Guy right next to you catches the 60th home run. You know the magnitude of this home run. And then to your shock, he hands the ball to your kid. A, thanks, buddy. And B, like, can I be the a-hole that just snatches it out of my kid's hand?
Now, on my honor, if that exact scenario happened to me, I'm cutting that guy in for more than 10% and more than 20%.
Yeah, you're going to do the right. Yeah, he's going to get some money.
He's getting a lot of money. Yes, 100%.
Sir, thank you so much. Now, listen, we need to talk.
If it was worth $250K, I think I'd give him as much as 100 and say, like, I'll also send you to whatever Mariners game you want. You name it. One ticket for you.
The thing of it is, like, in that moment, I mean, these people aren't auctioneers. They're not in that market. They don't know how much that ball is worth. He might think that ball's worth $30,000. He's like, oh, let the kid have it. Who cares? Maybe the guy's rich. He doesn't care. He's like, here you go.
This morning he wakes up,
$250,000. What have I done?
Heart attack.
What have I done?
Mom's medical bills.
Yeah, the bond stuff got crazy. People were out there bowing each other. It got ugly. You were in the mosh pit. There's a chance you could get hurt.
Yes.
You had to throw hands once you caught that ball.
It was like it was on. Baseballs in my pocket, and then as we're in the scrum, I'd let those baseballs drop to distract the other people. Like, oh no, I dropped it.
What is happening here?
Right. Run! I'd be prepared.
Well, they had those,
by the time they see the authenticator, they're already eating each other alive.
Yeah. This says Jack. What is this?
Right. It's the old cartoon gag. I'm throwing a T-bone to the pack of dogs.
Oh, man. Good on you, Cal Raleigh. And it is just otherworldly to think about the catching prowess of the last 20 years that Florida State has produced. Man, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You turn to the experts at Carrier and Marino Heating and Air. Online at marinoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Marino Heating and Air Conditioning.
Budget Blinds of Tallahassee is your local window covering experts. They do it all: blinds, shades, drapery, shutters, even home automation. And they'll be there with you from the design to the measuring to the installation. Budget Blinds is with you every step of the way.
Hello, I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Let us help you with your unique window treatment needs. Call us at 668-4835 for a free in-home consultation or find us online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's
I'm
Madden.
just thinking about buying some shorts you need to get them from Chubby's. And I'll tell you how and how to save money in just a moment. But they have an NFL line, which is really cool. Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear. If you're a fanatical fan, but you don't want to wear a jersey, like you're not a jersey guy. Maybe you're my age, and at my age, it's hard to pull off a jersey. You could be Tom's age, but I don't think you'd be mine wearing jersey. So there's an elite alternative. Tom, pull up what we got here with Chubby's. Look at all these. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Show me the Miami Dolphins one. I've got my Bucket Ears Chubby's shirt that they sent me, but I haven't seen what the Dolphins look like or the Jags look like. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I like the far left Hawaiian shirt for those of you just listening on the pod, but look at that. That is what we do right there. So a Dolphins game day shirt, and they need your help at Miami. So, wear your gear. Be proud. Do the right thing. For a limited time, you can use our exclusive code JCS for $10 off at chubbysshorts.com/JCS. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. Let those thighs hang out and let the good times roll. And here, for a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving you listeners $10 with the promo code JCS at chubbysshorts.com/JCS. That's $10 off your order with the promo code JCS, and that includes the NFL collection. Support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Express yourself and level up your game day wardrobes with our friends at Chubby's.
So no more settling for good enough. You'll find exactly what works for you. Stop in today and see what's new at Nick's Big and Tall, where style comes in every size. Nick's Big and Tall. Your fit, your style, your store.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Mark wants to know how on earth do they prove that ball was the ball? It's actually easy, Mark. Baseball does a good job with this. Most pro sports do, especially if there's a record pending. But in baseball, they have a tamper-proof hologram sticker that is affixed by an MLB authenticator, and that sticker has a serial number on it that can be entered into Major League Baseball's website that verifies the authenticity, and it details its use. So this is for every game. So if somebody does do something spectacular, like guys hits 5 home runs in a game or something that's never been done before in Major League Baseball history, that ball would be able to be found and authenticated, the 5th home run, because it has the hologram on it and it has a serial number on it, and it's tamper-proof. You'd have to cut but you couldn't do it. So they started doing this some time ago once the technology became more advanced to be able to ensure that they had a database of each ball that's used in every game.
It's interesting. I'd never really thought about it being used for every single game in baseball, but you never know what's going to happen on a given night. So you do need to have it prepared for any given game. Perfect game, 4 home runs, 5 home runs, whatever it is.
Yeah, you think about that year that Tatis hit the 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That's never going to be done again, I don't think. It never was before, and it hasn't since. And I'm talking about the elder Tatis, not the current Tatis that plays. Yes. Yeah. He had 2 grand slams in 1 inning. I mean, you the start of that game, nobody thought that was going to happen. So you would need to know, like, who caught that ball. We would like that for the Hall of Fame, first of all. Let's reach out to that fan. That's an amazing accomplishment. Of course, the fan doesn't have to give it up, but that's just that's part of it. I always wondered, would we reach a place where the back, so many people don't realize that the back of your ticket tells you an awful lot about what rights you do or do not have when you enter the stadium. And an ownership group can have certain rules for their ball club that are not Baseball rules, not Major League Baseball's rules. Major League Baseball has a set of rules, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks have a set of rules. And they may not be the exact same. They have to adhere to Major League Baseball's rules, but you as a fan, by purchasing a ticket, are agreeing to also adhere to the Arizona Diamondbacks rules. And I'm just using the Diamondbacks. It could be any team. Every team's different. And you can be kicked out of a game for something that you think is banal. But if it's expressly written on the back of the ticket that you can't do that, it could be something like cursing. No, seriously, it can be. I know for a fact in Seattle, because I had this nearly happen to me, they can boot you for having a dip, even if you're not spitting on the ground or anything else. I was having a dip many moons ago in Seattle, back when I still dipped. This is 18 years ago, whatever it was. And I was having a dip and spitting it into my existing cup. Nobody else was the wiser. I was discreet about it. And they saw me, and the security guy lady actually came over and was like, no, man, we're going to have to ask you to leave if you keep dipping. I'm like, what? I'm at a baseball game. No, take it out. And I thought, that seems a bit much, but it's their rules. They can tell you to take it on down the road.
Well, I mean, the type of person who knows every rule on the back of a ticket. It's like the guy who was at the gate in the Pirates game.
Oh, buddy, don't bring that guy.
Your favorite guy in history.
I got angrier and angrier as we
sure
watched
did.
that clown. Sir, you're not that important. You're taking tickets.
Well,
Get it together.
I'm to blame on this one a little bit too, because I didn't verify. I got two different answers on what time the gate opened in center field. And
don't get me wrong. I want to let me correct myself.
All right.
I'm not trying to judge ticket takers as being lesser people. This particular guy.
This guy was seeing be seen.
It was, please look at me. I'm going to be theatrical about all of this. I'm going to make it seem like somebody's placing a bomb on the bridge. It is unbelievable.
It was a spectacle.
Oh,
I just felt bad though, because Google told me one thing, and then as I further looked, as we were standing in line and the gates weren't open, something else was also expressed about the gate time open. So we were half an hour early for the gate to open. We wanted to get to a certain spot, and we did. But at least a lot of other people were fooled too. We were there with, what do you think, 100 people, 200 people who were like, what, open the gates?
Well, we were all standing there waiting for the gates to be open, yes. And we only got there that early because you and I wanted to stand in a particular place that is not ticketed.
That is correct.
But it is standing room only in that spot, and we thought it would be cool, and it was cool, and we ended up getting that spot, thankfully. But no help to him. No thanks to him.
No.
Sweet Jesus.
He instructed every one of his colleagues. I don't even know that they were his subordinates, but he instructed them like they were his subordinates.
He was very serious about it.
Come over here.
Yeah. Now, take a look at this line. Yes, it's a line of people trying to get into the game. Sure, got it. And then he'd be like, and then he'd point. Then he'd point back to the line. Then he'd point at the gate.
Folks, your attention, please.
It was ridiculous. And Tom knew that that's the kind of thing that angers me more than it angers him. I was beginning to get very angry. You effing clown. Just what are we doing here? Open the gates. By the way, who's the poor bastard that has to log every ball before every game across the league? This is all done before the season begins. This is all, they take care of this sort of thing long before it's game day. Now, you do have that guy who's in charge of scuffing the balls, rubbing them up. Hey, now. You've seen those videos, right? Where you have the guy that has to rub up the balls.
I've seen it. Yeah.
With the clay and the
I don't think I was supposed to see that, but I did.
And they do that for all the balls that are going to be in the ballpark that night. So if you have 150 balls for tonight's game, they're all getting scuffed, rubbed up. That's the way they work.
Got to get the dirt on them.
You got to get the grit on them, or otherwise you're going to fly and hit somebody in the freaking head. So they try to rub them up and get you ready to go. But it's a long to do. And again, some of the rules on the backs of tickets is crazy. Like in some parks, and this part is good because I can imagine where you'd have to invoke this at some point. Like if you're yelling at the poor concession worker because you don't like the way they, served your ice cream or something, they can just tell you to take it on down the road, that you're out. You're done. You have to leave. But I paid for this ticket. You did, indeed. And if you had read the back of your ticket, you'd know that what I'm telling you is perfectly within my rights. Leave my ballpark, bitch. That's how that goes. And I mean, that's the way it works.
Yet another person in Pittsburgh. Our guy was very good with the sunblock. Remember him? The sun.
Yeah,
he was very
but
concerned.
I didn't get mad at him for that.
No, it was earnest.
That seemed genuinely.
It was genuine. He took pride in wiping people's seats off because it was raining a lot over the course of the few days.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, especially the group to my right, they were like me, just a bunch of pasty-skinned Irish people who were never not on their phone for the entirety of the 3-hour ball game. That pissed you off as well. We were sitting there. That was the Saturday game with the rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
Those folks did not get off their phones the whole time. They were reading books.
I generally don't have
know what they were
much
doing there.
patience or time for people who live on their phone. Unfortunately, a lot of people do, and I have to check myself.
It was 2 husbands and 2 wives, and I get it.
Why were you at the game? Why would you come to a baseball game? So what he's talking about is there's a husband and a wife and a husband and a wife. This couple comes to these 2 couples. They come to the baseball game. They paid for some very good seats. Tom and I had awesome seats.
She was very nice. The one that I was
sure
sitting
they're all
immediately
very
next
nice.
to them, but
Yeah.
she was also kind of bleeding over the seat a little bit.
Well,
too.
she was heavy set. But I'm not impugning the character of these people. I'm just saying, man, live your life. Get your head out of your effing phone. You paid for these tickets.
That was my one weak point. Was I felt like Gus Malzahn at a press conference. You notice he got it done in 6.5 on Sunday.
Oh, he couldn't wait to be done.
He was in. He was out.
He was ready to roll.
But she had her elbows spread out wide so she could read the book. And I'm like,
Live spectator wins the day.
oh yeah, yes he does. Well, that's the second mention today. We had Ryan, who goes by FSU Twitter in the chat now, speak about orchids of Asia. And so there you go.
Yes, so that couple was something.
Yeah. The guys weren't even paying attention. I get it. The wives were reading and talking, and the guys were watching the ball game because maybe they take them out to a dinner later. All right, I could see that. It's a day. It's a couple's day, whatever. But all 4 of them on their phone.
The whole game. The whole game. Like, yeah.
They're wearing Pirate stuff. They're missing a good game.
And the Pirates were pasting that ass. There's no reason not to be watching. Now, some games of the Pirates will lull you to sleep.
Yeah.
With the impotence of the offensive prowess that is null and void. It is tough to watch.
No. If I wanted to read a book on my phone, it would have been acceptable.
I would have been like, Tom, I understand. That's right. It is now 19.
Give me another one of those cannonball doubles, please, which were delicious.
They were delicious, and I have the cups. It's just weird that, like, you see it all the time too. I see it when I go. Tell me you've done this, and we'll move on. You got to a concert and watch somebody watch it through their iPad?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is the silliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's for the gram. It's not for their own memories. Yes, and usually it's the person that's sitting in front of you or standing in front of you in the pit. And so therefore, not only are you looking over their shoulder, you're trying to look at the gap between their arm and their device in order to see the solo that you paid $300 to see. Yes, been there.
It's something.
Once or twice.
You're like, buddy, the dude you're filming play guitar, he's right there.
And
you could take this and put it over here, and you get to see him.
After the next 24 hours, you're never going to watch that solo again in your life on your phone. You won't. You'll find it on YouTube before you open it on your phone. So watch it.
But also, he's right there.
There he is.
You can watch him do this in real life, not through the lens. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
News now.
A roadside worker has been arrested after hitting his coworker with a shovel.
Look at your screen, everybody. And if you're just listening, you'll see that or hear that I'm about to talk about HelloTushy.com. HelloTushy.com. You think, what in the world? And I thought, what in the world? Now, I understand bidets are used the world around and not necessarily all that much in the United States, but that is changing. And here's the deal. I'm an open-minded guy. I wanted to know, well, what's the benefit? Why would I use it? Why would I have a bidet in my house? Why would I don't know. It felt a little weird. I thought it would be a little weird, but there are benefits, and I did know that. I've heard that before. First of all, you reduce itching and irritation and micro tears. They'll tell you that. This is soothing water instead of toilet paper, scratchy toilet paper, or damaging wipes, And that whole process is kind of, when you think about it, it's nasty. It's nasty. And I found out that using a bidet is far more sanitary and actually very, very easy. And so I said, yeah, let's go. Send it to me. Send it to me. We'll try it in the Cameron household. And I have to tell you that it's not just the copy. It's not just what they tell you. It's true that you feel cleaner. You feel better when you get done using the bathroom when you have a bidet in your house. So look, give it a try. You'll be surprised that you'll like it. It benefits you, and you are saving tons of money. You use 80% less toilet paper. I mean, I would think that the percentage is higher, but that's what they told me. 80% less toilet paper, and it comes with a 30-day hassle-free return. So if you don't like it, if you're uncertain, you go, I don't know about a bidet, Jeff. Well, I can tell you that, they sent it to me. It was very easy to set up, took seconds. It works. It's great. But it may not be for you. So if it's not, you can send it back, 30-day hassle-free return. I know people want to know about that. So there you go. You have that option. But I don't think you'll return it. I think you're going to like it. And by the way, I love their call to action. I love this, what I'm about to tell you, because old school Jeff Cameron Show listeners will remember this. Hashtag a-hole. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code WARCHANT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at HelloTushy.com. Go to HelloTushy.com and remember to use the promo code WARCHANT. You're going to be surprised. I think you're going to like your bidet. HelloTushy.com, promo code WARCHANT.
Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com multimedia network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I will say on a serious note, though, about the upcoming game, the game tomorrow night, and we moved away. We were talking a lot of baseball there, but I do want to see a ton of continued what for that this team has provided us through all three games. It was evidence yet again that this is a team that plays to a standard and really it's something that they hold themselves accountable to no matter who they're playing. That is what's A, so lovable, and B, guarantees a lack of letdowns that seem usually unavoidable in a given season. It's hard to ask, especially non-professionals, although they're getting to be professionals, that you show up every day and practice a certain way, and that in the games you play a certain way, no matter the score, no matter the opponent, no matter they don't care about a point spread, or they ought not. But you know what I mean. When you're favored by a gazillion or it's a nip and tuck rivalry game, the level of play should not be affected by the perception of the quality of that opponent. You're playing to a certain standard. And that's one of the things that really shone through in both the first three games, or these last two games in particular, because those would have been the games that you certainly could have had a letdown with. Obviously, the tape would have told you going in that this team can't play with you.
That would be part of the discussion here for why is the line so low. Do the Sharps not look at the fact that this team has not played with its food? That Florida State has not hesitated. They might have not been good enough in a couple of stretches of the Alabama game defensively to get a couple of stops that might have racked up more points. And they really aren't very good at all the punt return game, which is eminently frustrating. But there's nothing about what Florida State did in the Alabama game where you'd say, oh, they're just kind of messing around and playing with their food. No, man, they went after it. They took it to Alabama. They were all over Alabama. And then,
yeah, of course.
Moreover, if you're looking for a gut check on complacency, that next week you didn't see it at all. There might have been a little bit of a slip up last week relative to the East Texas A&M game, but it's still at this other level of willful dominance out of this group. When they know that their opponent is lesser, they don't feel bad for that opponent. They take it to them. So I feel like that has to be a part of the math. And if tomorrow is one of those examples where you see that Florida State plays at a level that even a Virginia in the conference can't match for 4 quarters, and they pull away, I will tell you I feel a lot better about the Pitt game specifically based upon what happens tomorrow. That would give me a lot more confidence for the test after Miami when we play Pitt.
Well, and that's because typically, now Pitt is rarely any great shakes, but given their coach and given the way they want to play and the way they usually play, if you're not prepared to play, you could have a problem with a team like Pitt because they're going to be physical. And Narduzzi's a good coach. There's a lot of things that I like. They're usually prepared to play. They don't always have the personnel. They don't have the quarterback. There's something usually off with Pitt because it's Pitt. But they're going to hit you, and they're going to make you prove that you want to play football and be physical that day. And so, yeah, to your point, you show up against Virginia here and you maul them and play at that same intensity, that same high level. It tells me really that that's just going to be the expected standard week to week, no matter who they play. It won't just be the big games so far. It hasn't just been the big games. It'll be every game because the buy-in's real, because the coach has convinced them that this is the way you have to play. It should have been an easy sell, but it's a lesser or more difficult sell when the players who were making up the bulk of your offense or your defense were not on the team a year ago to suffer through the 2-10, which would engender sort of an anger and frustration and revenge mode. That's not really the motivation, but they play that way.
They do with great consistency. And I feel like on the defensive side of the ball, you can rely on the effort week to week more because they're rolling 20 guys out there. Tony White played 25 against Alabama, but he was asked on Sunday, how big is the rotation really? And he said 18 to 20. So it's a little bit less than the reality of what he did in the Alabama game, but it ain't 15. It's close. He's saying 18 or 20 dudes that he can roll out there. And so if you're looking for consistent intensity, you do need depth to be able to pull that off, specifically on defense. And specifically for what Virginia is going to bring to the table. So, again, if you're looking for weird spots, like the Pitt game, coming off of an emotional rivalry tilt that's going to be unbelievably physical, depth can help you get through that. And they do have that depth on defense. The offense is just going to be about execution, I think, tomorrow. It's going to be a situational execution and not turning the football over. I think that is a much simpler task. For the defense tomorrow, they might get beat on some things. And how many guys do they trust if they get hit in the mouth with a couple of drives that Virginia puts together?
Do you have a particular player besides Q that you're worried about?
The second safety, I feel good about Earl. He's going to be around the ball. KJ Kirkland last week did inspire confidence, and he was a co-starter along with Edwin Joseph. So I'll be looking at that second safety. Yeah, there are a couple of guys in the secondary that I want to see because this is a game quarterback who can get the ball down the field. Dare I say, if Carson Beck's arm looks in our game the way it did against Florida, this is a better downfield test that you're going to get tomorrow than you will get against Miami.
And with perhaps a particular receiver that's better than anybody Miami has.
And you know what? Yes, they've got a headliner, but they've got 2 or 3 dudes that can win one-on-ones. And they understand the nuances about zone versus man, how to break off routes. They've got good timing with the quarterback. Virginia did essentially the same thing we did. If you're looking at snaps of experience that they brought in through the transfer portal, they actually brought in more than we did.
Yes, they did.
So it's a very similar deal. The good news here for Florida State defensively is this isn't some sort of pro-style offense that they have not seen before. They go against this type of offense every day in practice. They see this exact type of offense every day in practice.
It's fun to watch that aspect of college football shift. I mean, there is part of me that really misses the old days and the building of layering programs, depth, and watching the emergence and maturity and growth and the whole process. And then there's a part of me that's like, well, you don't have to suck forever. If you're bad a particular year, just hang in there. You could be elite next year when you import an entirely new offense the way that we just did, Oklahoma just did, Virginia just did. You can actually name 7 or 8 teams, high-profile teams that did exactly that same thing. Out of desperation, out of frustration, and out of the ability to reach into the pockets and say, we've got money now to give players. Let's do it. Let's not sit around and be miserable. Let's adjust our life with a new quarterback and receiver and 3 new offensive linemen, and in our case, 5.
This Tony White game plan is going to be really fascinating because he changes week to week. The Miami game plan is not going to be the one that we see tomorrow, but what did he pick? He sounded genuinely alerted to how good Virginia is. I'm concerned is the wrong word, worried is the wrong word, but alerted to how good Virginia is. He sounded that way, and I believe him.
Well, I think he sees on tape that the quarterback can play. And I think anytime you're playing a team whose quarterback can really play, you've got a defensive coordinator's attention because that is a game changer. It's one of those players. It's not a left guard. It's the quarterback. You could have a real problem on your hand if that guy goes off.
And as we talked about yesterday, there are some plays that he makes off platform that would work against anybody in the country.
Right.
Name your best defense in the country. There's some plays that Morris makes that are going to work.
It frustrates you.
Yes.
To no end. Yeah. You gotta really remain incredibly disciplined.
Well, and part of the other thing too is when it comes to quarterback runs, Ty Simpson versus Chandler Morris. So when Tyler would go through progression, Ty 1, 2, 3, and then break the pocket and run, he wasn't necessarily still looking to throw. He kind of took the ball down and tucked. There was the one time on the 4th down when he missed the kid, and that's damn
short.
What a shame.
Tragic.
But you could tell the game was speeding up for him in that moment. He didn't look poised, didn't have his shoulders squared down the field, always looking, scanning, directing, and then throwing. This guy will do that too. So it's really annoying. This is the classic mobile quarterback that drives you nuts, except he's not necessarily just tucking and going. If there's something open downfield, he's going to take that shot. And if somebody's even and they're leaving, he'll fire it down the field in that situation as well.
Would you rather, I thought about this when we were talking about the fact that the number is low and it kind of surprises all of us. And, you want a test. You're glad you're getting another test before you face Miami, because Miami will most certainly be a test. They're physically a ground and pound team that can beat you up in the trenches, and you're going to have to play your best game to meet that sort of intensity. Would you rather this be somewhat close for a while, even though that causes consternation? Would you watch that game and say, you know what, we need this so long as we keep it together, remain poised, and pull away the way we should? Would you? Because there is a part of me, if I could tell you the outcome, you would say yes. But there is another part of me that says no, because the schedule has been greatly weakened. Moving forward, you don't have too many chances to prove your greatness. People aren't going to care when you beat up on Wake Forest's sorry ass. They're not going to care when you pound a bad Pitt team. They're not going to care. Hell, they might not even care by the time we get there that you beat Clemson. You don't have too many opportunities to make statements. And so my fear is that you're going to have to be a dominant team, maybe an unfairly dominant team, or expectation-wise unfairly dominant team against these types of squads that actually have the capability of making plays on offense, or an aspect of their team that's pretty good. It's just that the totality of the team's not very good. You're going to have to play flawlessly. You're going to have to beat people by a lot, so that as the year goes on, you get the proper respect you deserve to be in the position you want to be for the playoff ultimately. Now, you could say, wait a minute, let's stop talking about playoff here. We've got to win the next 2 games. Then maybe we start talking about playoffs and all that. I just think that every game obviously matters, and I take a look around at the rest of the ACC, and I recognize this conference for being not very good. And Clemson, who was supposed to be very, very good, as in national championship contender good, is 1-3. And Miami is really good, so we'll get that chance. But name the next team that gives us that chance to prove anything.
That's fair. I think if you win the next 2 games, I don't care what the all-state playoff predictor says, we're better than 50-50 to make the playoffs if we start 5-0.
Yeah, I agree. If you start 5-0 with a win over Miami, you are in really good shape. But the problem is, again, Florida's not good right now. Right. Who knows what they're going to be by the time we play them, but Clemson's not good right now. You kind of need Alabama to have some success. It'd be great if they beat Georgia this week.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about do you need to have the game close? Not necessarily. One of the best things I saw on social media, which is a rare thing to say, but is our guy Jonathan Breimer, who's always around for the charity shows.
Yeah, great.
Clearly has very good tickets, as one might imagine, given the size of the donations that we get for those shows.
Yeah.
But after the broken, busted coverage that Kent hit for a touchdown, he's close enough to hear Tony White peeling the paint off of the bench and the covering that they have over their head, lighting into the defense.
As one would.
As one should.
Yeah.
One would not last year.
Well, he was
if they were on
scared of
Florida
his own
State
shadow,
sidelines.
yeah.
This guy will. So you could have minor breakdowns on the way to a major victory, and Tony is still going to light into them. So for that reason, I don't think it needs to be close.
Okay.
And in fact, I prefer not, because I know Tony will harp on the negative anyway to keep these guys tuned up and motivated.
No, I'm not saying I want to be sweating bullets tomorrow and have this be 24-21 with 5 seconds to play and Virginia's at R37. I'm not, I don't need that. But, well, maybe they're R27 because you said their kicker sucks.
Unless they brought in a new one. You never know with these things. They might find the freshman or the walk-on or something, but yeah, it was shaky.
I don't need all that, but I wouldn't mind for them to have to lock in adverse conditions, adjust, stop something that's working, show the ability to do that on the fly in an environment that's not Doak Campbell Stadium. Not such a bad thing to gain that experience necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have the chat up at all. Noel Kev, catching the show for the first time this week, was having a drink during the Atlanta game Sunday, and, well, one turned into two, then a blackout, woke up this morning, laugh out loud anyways. Do you believe they hold Tommy C back Friday? Well, in terms of they're going to play him, and you mean just will they run him as much as they would like to run him?
It's a fascinating question because he ran plenty last week, but does the pocket injury scare revise their plan at all? I don't think you can afford to do that.
The offense is the offense. I'm running him. You brought him here. You brought him here to run. I don't think he's hurt. If he were hurt, I would tell you, like legit hurt, could play through it, but is hurt, like got to shoot him up with Toradol and see if he can get through it. Yeah, they'd hold him back. I don't think it's that kind of I think he's just a little dinged.
Yeah.
I mean, the season goes on, everybody's hurting. You know, you're beaten and battered and bruised. It's football.
Yeah, I think you might take away his run option if you get up large enough early in this game, but still let him manage it and
of course
call his own number if he has to. But let's tamp it down because he ran a lot in the first half last week, but he didn't get hurt on a running play. He got hurt standing back in the pocket.
Well, I think certainly reason and logic hold true across the board here. If you're up 21-0, there's no need to just be running him. But you know, in the beginning, no, I think
you got to show that to scare the hell out of him.
You got to play the game. Yeah, you got to play the game. And I think that's exactly what they'll do. That's right, Florida man in Alabama. Run that ass. You got to do with him. That's why you brought him, and you knew there were going to be moments in which he's dinged. But hey, look up, soldier. It's game day. Tape it up. Final hour. Bonus hour, fourth coming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.